Hey guys, I painted up another frame, the entire frame, no airbrush, and the hardest part was solved by a bottle I'd already owned for years. I started off by pulling out all of the paints that I thought could possibly be useful for this project, and then I narrowed them down to the handful that actually got used. This one's heavily influenced by some inspiration I got from the Gunpla Meijin, Kawaguchi-san. I was presenting at a GBWC demonstration alongside him, doing my own panel on Gunpla weathering techniques, but also acting as his English language translator. And he was showing off a version of this model with a bright green vascular system, and I was very impressed with it. He'd clearly done a bit of work on the detailing of the frame, so I asked him why. And he said that even though many parts of the frame get covered up by the armor, when you peek through the gaps, you can see the cool additions you've made, and that adds a lot of excitement and realism to the machine. I really took that to heart. We were talking building together backstage, which was really fun. Somebody at that level, still geeking out about how he worked on his models. So I asked him how he produced that finish, and he just said, "Oh, it's silver with Tamiya clear green shot over the top." That's it. That's the recipe, straight from the Meijin. I wanted to do that this time, but with a twist, testing a technique I learned very recently from another fantastic painter friend of mine. More on that when we get to that stage, so it makes more sense. I also wanted to change the vibrancy from what I saw on Kawaguchi-san's version and fit it to the theme here, the industrialized military version. Less bling, more ding. I wanted that green, but bright green is a bit too bling, and this project is realistic industrial. Those two things fight. I'll take you through it. Before we fully fly into this, a brief explanation of what I've been calling Tokyo apartment style in my recent videos. I started modeling as an adult whilst living in Tokyo back in the early 2000s, and got to working at a professional standard, commissioned by Japanese modeling companies, especially Wave and Hasegawa, to paint up some of their catalog finishes. And during that whole time, I did not own an airbrush. It just wasn't something that could happen within the constraints of the apartment. When Wave heard that, they offered to give me one, of course, and I became proficient with it. It's a fantastic tool. But it was never one of the core skills I built my foundation on. And there's a kind of simple joy in not needing it. Just using paintbrushes to a high level. It's a very satisfying way to work, and I've realized a lot of you out there are interested in that process too. So through these videos, I'm hoping to share it. And by no means is an airbrush necessary to produce a professional level finish. Now, the specific experiment I'm running in this video is whether I can produce a professional, acceptable finish hand brushing with Tamiya acrylic clears. The interwebs says we cannot. So let's test that. First things first, credit where credit is due. I didn't come up with this, I yoinked it with permission from my good friend Calvin Tan, world-class figure painter, absolute wizard. Now, the surprising part, it doesn't involve a new product. Calvin put together a simple demo showing how to mix AK Interactive acrylic thinner into Tamiya acrylics to produce a hand brushable paint. And yes, that blew my mind. The bottle had been sitting on my bench for years. I just hadn't put the stack together. And here's why this matters. Slightly geeky technical bit. Usually, to get Tamiya acrylics brushing a little better, you reach for, say, Tamiya X20A thinner or Mr. Hobby Aqueous thinner or even isopropyl alcohol, IPA. And those are quite solvent hot as compared to water. Great for airbrushing, but hand brushed over water-based acrylics, and there's a good chance they'll reactivate and craze the paint underneath. And I had Vallejo Metal Color going down as my base, so I was quite nervous. Did not want that interaction happening. This acrylic thinner sidesteps that whole problem. Simple technique, common products, and they're easy to find for the bench. That's a win all round. One slight caveat. My bottle of the AK acrylic thinner is apparently an older recipe. So I did a couple of things. I tested that older bottle and it worked just fine. But I also tested it against a similar product because I know the formulation, the additives they put into the water to make it airbrushable, they're pretty much the same as in this Vallejo airbrush thinner. And yes, very similar, works with both. Though I think I slightly preferred how the AK product handled. I tried it a couple of ways. How I usually work with acrylics is adding a little bit of water at a time. It keeps it thinning, keeps the paint open, and it extends the brushability. But with this technique, it worked better if I mixed the whole batch up front. The few drops of thinner straight into the Tamiya paint all at once. That stayed brushable longer than feeding thinner in bit by bit. I think it's because once the Tamiya acrylic starts drying, it needs a hotter thinner to bring it back. But fresh out of the bottle, add this thinner and boom, you've instantly got a brushable paint. And you use it while it's open. No, I haven't tested it across a wet palette yet. My use case here was quite short-lived, if that makes sense. I was genuinely and humbly surprised by this. I was expecting additional levels of sorcery would be required. Nope. A few drops and Tamiya acrylic hand brushes. I feel like I've been missing out for years. So, once I had the paint cooperating, I could use the Tamiya Clear like a fantastic water-based acrylic ink, hand brushed directly over the Vallejo Metal Color metallics on the Vascular system. And as you can see, to keep with the theme, I didn't go bright silver this time. I used the slightly darker metallics, like steel, for a more grounded base. Really happy with how they laid down. It was exactly what I had in mind. The cool green from Kawaguchi-san's finish applied to look a little more industrial. While I'm showing you the points on the frame, another revision from version 1 to version 2 was the components that read as hydraulic casings. I've changed those from Bling metallics to flat colors that'll still work with the custom scheme I'm planning for the finish. These are flat drying water-based acrylics from both the Vallejo Metal Color and AK 3rd Gen lines, and they're very easy to work with. Good point to mention the paint stack here, because we need the paints to stick to the plastic, and they need to be laid in the right order to both adhere and look right. I started with an overbrush of a couple of acrylic lacquer colors that work well with the plastic. The frame itself is what I'd eyeball as a 50-50 black plus mahogany mix, if we were using Mr. Color paints. Exactly the industrial vibe I was aiming for. By mixing a blue-black and a red-black, I got interesting mid-tones. And if I miss the odd spot and leave bare plastic showing, it adds to the flavor rather than detracting. And yes, I'm often asked in the comments, I do wear a respirator with organic solvent filters when using these. A dust mask doesn't cut it. Hardware store, not expensive, windows open, it's just necessary kit. Please get it. Once the color coat primer was down, I dry brushed up through a number of metallics, leaning on the Vallejo Metal Color range. Excellent paints, they hand brush beautifully, airbrush well too. Then for the final highlights, I experimented with a couple of the older Citadel paints in my collection, which were quite good. But the one that really impressed me was AK Interactive Oily Steel, which went onto a number of components, including some of the Hero Vascular System underlayer shots, if that makes sense. Coming back to the fully finished frame, you can see I didn't need an airbrush to paint any of this, and it came together really well. Using Tamiya acrylics as a hand brush paint gave me the slightly darker industrial green vascular system I wanted, and it ties in with the darker metallics and the flat hydraulic components, all set up for the armor stage coming next. I was really happy I didn't need the full spread of paints I pulled out from the start, and that I got off huffing lacquer early and into the water-based acrylics. It's always a good day at the bench. I prefer the performance only lacquers can really give, but it is much more pleasant painting without a mask, with the heater on when required. Not that it gets that cold here in Sydney. Yes, my Northern Hemisphere friends, we're in the middle of winter right now. Crazy, right? If you'd like more from the bench, the deeper run that doesn't make it all the way to the video, grab the free studio sampler, link below. That's also where you'll first hear when the Rex process becomes something you can hold in your hands and lay flat on your workbench. Oops, said too much. Hey, if you liked the video, please tell the almighty algo, hit like and subscribe for more. Painting the armor is next.